Honestly, what does smut even really stand for? Like, I know it's for sexy reading. I do know that. But it's like SMUT. What is it like such, so much unholy text?
Well, I've run out of ideas, so this is going to be a reading vlog. I decided I'm going to do 3 books. One, Finding My Way by Malala Yousafzai, who I love. Currently in the middle of an audiobook called Sometimes I Lie by Miss Alice Feeney, one of my favorite thriller writers. And then the third one, I'm just going to have to figure out once I finish the other two. Listen, I'm going to be really honest. This book is overdue by like a couple days, more than two. Okay, so I need to bring it back to the library, or they will be mad at me. Luckily, my library does have this thing where they don't charge people who have their books that are overdue, and I think that they should stop that because it allows people like me, and I am not promoting this at all, to feel like they have time to finish the books before they become too overdue. You know what I mean? Not to ruin the video, but if you could give this video a like or comment your most recent read, I would appreciate it. I need to return this ASAP. So this kind of needs to be like a let's read it in one sitting challenge, but I can't. So I'm just gonna try to my best, my darndest to read this just as fast as I can. We'll see what the heck happens. Anyway, sorry in advance for all the future noises my neighbors will be making. If you do not know who Malala Yousafzai is, in Pakistan, there was a ban for girls to go to school that was just being enacted whenever she was very young. I think she was maybe like 14. And so in protest, she decided to go to school because she wasn't afraid of the Taliban's rules. I'm pretty sure you know what the heck this is about, but just in case there was somebody who just doesn't know, because my husband didn't know. In an act of defiance, she decided to continue to go to school even though the ban had been placed. And I think it was on her way back to school or on her way to school, one of the Taliban members asked who was Malala. As she was about to say, I am Malala, she got shot. And this is kind of her life after telling her story of how and why she got shot. This is her starting from high school into college.
I'm really liking this book for reasons that are kind of unexpected. This starts off with her in high school, and she talks about how, although she was famous, she wasn't cool enough to have friends. And then getting into Oxford, she's going through these like really normal college things. Like, imagine being Malala, and you still have to worry about this who you know is just not as invested in you or a relationship as you are, and yet you still hold on to that hope. Like, imagine like you're Malala, you still are hoping for a text back from the guy who's like garbage. One of the very interesting stories that is not relatable but very fascinating, she joins the rowing team. Paparazzi catch her on the way to rowing team in a pair of jeans. That gets posted on the internet, sparks so much backlash, and a lot of people from her hometown, a lot of people in Pakistan, were saying that she's a traitor now that she's wearing jeans and she's not wearing traditional wear. And she had a little bit of inner turmoil with figuring out how she felt about that, but she really did push back on the fact that, I'm fighting for this. This is what I'm fighting for, the ability to wear jeans or to wear my traditional wear. Page 41. My scarves reminded me of home and helped me to connect to a world that I'd lost. No matter what the misogynists or Islamophobes said, I wanted girls in Pakistan to know that I had not forgotten them. If I was going to be photographed without my consent, at least they would see that a girl in a scarf could walk down the street on her own, go to college, or even row a boat.
Oh, hello. I have 80 pages left. So let's go finish the book. I need to be like real for a second. I do. I'm feeling kind of down because I'm feeling kind of lonely. Ugh. Normally, like as an introvert, I feel very fulfilled by creative projects. So this channel and my other channels really help me because I feel like consistently creatively stimulated. but I'm kind of just missing having a friend. Like, I miss being able to go over to a friend's house and just like sit and like gab and talk about nothing or everything, or like just being in companionship with somebody other than my husband. Like, I love my husband a little too much because we are like we get codependent when we both are feeling lonely. But Malala is, I in a lot of ways she's she's incredibly relatable because she's talking about the loneliness of having a major life transition, trying to find your way, like for real, and is being very honest about the loneliness and the turmoil and a lot of the anxieties that she has, that I feel kind of like this book has presented itself in at the right time for me. Even though, like, yes, she is Malala, I am not Malala. Like, she feels lonely and then she goes and she like advocates for having a school built, and then schools get built. But just to see her as like a human, and to know that even though loneliness looks different for other people, that like we are all experiencing it on some level. I can definitely get this finished by the end of the day if I don't get distracted. Let's just do it.
Okay, now I'm going on to an audiobook that I'm already like 40% of the way in, called Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney, which I love. But one thing about Alice Feeney is that the story will never be what it's presented to be. This is a story about a woman, I think her name is Amber. She's in a coma currently, and you're trying to put the pieces together as to like, how did she get in this coma? Who put her in there? Are the people who are visiting her, are they suspects? What the heck is happening? But then also she kind of admits to being an unreliable narrator, saying that sometimes I lie. So you're trying to figure out like how much is she lying about, because there was an accident and she like got caught in a car, and it's confusing because she never drove before. But previous to that, in her professional life, she was about to lose her job. She's a radio host, and the like senior radio host wanted to kick her out so that the senior host could have like a solo show. It's a whole thing. I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going to happen, and I'm excited about it. So I'm getting ready for bed. Luckily, because it's audio, all I do is just turn it on and just do the process, you know? That is my favorite thing about audiobooks. It's like you just live your life and you can just do them. Bit of an update. I finished Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. Alice Feeney, the woman that she is.
Alrighty, so upon me debriefing you on my experience, I realized I just didn't do it well enough, so I just want to redo it. Upon reading the book, it was a good 3-star popcorn thriller, easy read, but I realized it kind of made me want to step up my reading quality. You know, this book is kind of the equivalent to going to McDonald's. McDonald's is always going to hit, but sometimes you do miss the value of the higher dining experiences, and I do kind of want that to translate into my thrillers. I want more psychological thrillers, more hard-hitting thrillers. Although this was good, it was just like only good enough. It wasn't great, and I want to read more great stories. In an effort to tap into my grief, I wanted to read a book that highlighted grief within a marriage, which I know is like hyper specific, but this book called Monogamy was great because it's about a woman who did not know that her husband was cheating on her until he passed away. So honestly, what can I even say? That was the most beautifully, sharply observant piece of literature about the different stages of monogamy, different stages of grief, the pain of being in a marriage, recognizing the flaws of, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to I thought that the story was going to be more linear than it was. It kind of jumped timelines. It started off with, them as two separate people and then them merging lives, and it jumps like from one decade to another to his death, and then it kind of backs into previous decades and reflects on certain memories. At first, it was kind of confusing to me and I thought it was a little frustrating, but I think it was the best way to tell the story because that's really how grief feels. Grief consistently reminds you of the beginning, middle, and end of your time with somebody. And then marriage in itself, the amount of times I'm thinking about my beginning, middle, and like, I don't know about the end, but like thinking about the end. And the amount of times I was triggered by the idea that one day my husband is gonna die. I can't even really talk about it. I really will sob. I'll sit here and sob. This book took the air out of my lungs several times, made me cry 3 to 5 times. It was phenomenal. It was so good. I 10 out of 10 strongly recommend. I give it a 5 star because it was exactly what I needed in the moment. It was it was so good. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. A lot of people don't. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have a phenomenal morning, afternoon, or night.